So I developed my interest in plant science during my undergraduate degree. I went to University of St Andrews thinking that I wanted to do marine biology. I loved everything about dolphins and whales and the work of Jacques Cousteau. And then when I got there, I discovered in my second year that actually the plant science was much, much cooler than anything the animals were doing. Plants had to solve all the same problems as animals, but rooted to the spot. They still had to find a mate and set their offspring off in life and not get too wet and find enough to eat. But they couldn't just walk around to do it. And I found the solutions that they'd come up with so much more interesting than what animals did. So that converted me to plants. So my research is about the evolution and development of things about flowers that make them interesting to animal pollinators. And I got into that from a very broad plant biology degree with an interest in plants generally, and then a PhD in plant developmental biology focused on flowers. And then when I started putting those two things together, I found I was interested not just in the development of the flowers, but also in how those developmental pathways had evolved and how they generated the enormous diversity of plants that we see around us today. So particularly working in a botanic garden, I have access to an enormous range of plant diversity. I'm always seeing new interesting flowers that I want to know how they work, and then I incorporate those into the research program. So the absolute best thing about my job is that I'm never ever bored. There are always so many different interesting things to do. So I enjoy teaching, I enjoy the interaction with students and learning about new things, because you have to learn about things to be able to teach them. I enjoy the research, I enjoy finding things out that nobody else knows and discovering how things work that nobody's ever thought about before. I enjoy conferences and hearing about other people's research, and I enjoy training people and seeing them go off into great careers as well. So it's just a really diverse job, and it's never ever boring. So I would suggest to anybody thinking about a career in biology to think about what really interests them, but to think beyond the obvious. Plants are never obvious. They're all around us, but we don't see them. They're doing really clever things that most people don't know about. And actually, if you start to study them in detail, you discover that the amount of things there are to find out, the amount of things that you can do with plants, and the amount of ways in which they help us and help the planet are just enormous. And there aren't that very many plant biologists out there. So actually the opportunity to make a big difference is really great in plant science.